What's going on, guys? Clocky clocking in. We have the official trailer for Wisdom of Sea and Sky. I'm not going to show you again. If you watched the last video, you've seen it. We have all the official translations now as well, and some of them are a little different than what they were in the first place. So we'll go over those really quick, and then we'll do some theory crafting around some of these cards. First and foremost, we'll talk about Alira. She is different. It is essentially, this is like a better Leaf almost. You switch your active Pokemon that has damage on it with one of your benched. To be fair, this means that it does have to be damaged, so it does very much still work like Ilima, where the active Pokemon has to be damaged. But you can switch it with a benched Pokemon. This is, as long as there's damage on the Pokemon in front, you can do a free swap. This makes like Snorlax EX better now, which is sick, because I love Snorlax. What can I say? So this definitely makes Snorlax a lot better. It makes a lot of stuff a lot better. It's a good card. Definitely a lot better than it was. All right, we also have Silver. This is like even better than we thought because it has nothing to do with special energy. There's no special energy. This, I don't know. The translation was so weird. This is like way better though than what it was. Your opponent reveals their hand. You choose a supporter card you find there and shuffle it into your opponent's deck. This card's crazy. You get to see your opponent's entire hand, which is nuts. And then you get to pick a supporter out of it and put it back in their deck. So they have research, anything. This is so good. Like the applications of this are insane. This is like such a good card. This is going to be a card like everyone's going to have in their deck because you get to see your opponent's hand, so you know what they're playing with, and then you get to get rid of one of their supporters. Is this better than Mars? I don't know. Like, you could pair this with Red Card and be a menace, because not only can you choose a supporter and then shuffle it, but if you think their hand is really good and they're like going to evolve, you Red Card it out. Gone, done. So it's pretty good. All right, the items here are also different. Rescue Scarf is actually the name of this, not Energy Shoe. It's kind of a niche thing. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you put it in your hand instead of the discard pile. So like if you get hit with like a Water Shuriken or poison or anything like that, it technically doesn't count. And if they get knocked out and it goes to your hand, that's neat, but they still get points for it. I don't know what the applications of this really are. Like if you only have one copy of a certain card in your hand and you really want that copy or that card back in your hand right after you've used it, then I guess this is useful. I'm trying to think. I don't know what the applications of this are, honestly. Like maybe Sylveon. Like maybe if like you get a Sylveon knocked out, you throw a Rescue Scarf on it and then it comes back in your hand and you play the Eevee again and evolve it so you can draw more cards out of your deck. Dusknoir. But it has to be knocked out by an attack. That's the only thing. So like this doesn't technically work. If this worked with Dusknoir, that wouldn't be like half bad. But then also you don't get like your rare candy back if you're using rare candy to evolve. This is just kind of a weird card. I think it's kind of neat, but I really don't know what a good use case for it would be. If it prevented your opponent from getting points, that would be crazy, you know, but it doesn't. I assume they still get points, so it's okay. This card is actually way better. Elemental Switch is way better. I mean, it was okay before, but now it's even better because it includes water energy. So you get to move a fire, water, or electric energy from one of your benched Pokemon to your active Pokemon. This is crazy. All of these decks generate a ton of energy as it is onto the bench. You got Manaphy for water types. You know, you've got Misty as well, generating energy. You've got fire. You got like Flareon generates fire energy. A lot of electric decks have like Electrical Cord, and Zeraora generates energy on its own, and Pachirisu generates. There's a ton of different decks from each one of these types that all generate energy, which is sick. So I'm pumped. I love it. I think this card's really good. The fact that you can have two of them and you can use two in the same turn. I was watching a stream where someone mentioned you could literally use two elemental switches and then a Dawn in the same turn. You could move 3 energy in one turn. I'm not sure why you would want to. I don't know how many use cases that is, but like, or how many use cases there is for that. I mean, like Palkia, you know, you lose 3 water energy with Palkia. So like this kind of means you don't have to run Vaporeon in Palkia decks. Palkia might be coming back. I'm just saying, this kind of makes me think you don't really even need Vaporeon, but you do have to pull all 3 of those cards into your hand at the same time. But like, I mean, you know, it could happen. All right, on top of that, we also have a new card, Togepi. It's just got Charm. Nothing crazy. It's not a baby Pokemon. It does take an energy to use it. This could mean that there could be an EX Like we could have Togekiss EX. We could have Togetic EX. Those are possible. We'll see. It'd be cool if we got some EXs for Togekiss though. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's just regular Togekiss, because if it's regular Togekiss, that means it'll work with Cynthia, and that would be sick. All right, on top of that, we also got like a leak from like an Instagram ad or something, I guess. So these are all cards that aren't even included in the trailer. Swan is a really good one. Swan is sick. You get to attack with 2 colorless energy, so it can be in like any deck. And you move all of your energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon, and you hit for 60. That's really good. The fact that you can attack and then all your energy moves off, and then you're like, how do I get rid of this thing? It has 0 retreat cost. So you do a quick 60 damage, you move your energy to something else, and then you can retreat into that, and that can attack. That is sick. That is like so good. There's like a lot of stuff you could do with this, even with like Manaphy and like water decks, you know, because yeah, it is a water Pokemon, but you could kind of use this in a lot of different decks. I'm not really sure, like, there's definitely use cases for this, because you're just hitting for a quick 60 and then you get to pull it the next turn. Or better yet, you can scapegoat this. Like, this is a perfect Pokemon for like, you hit for 60 real quick and then you get all the energy off of it. And it's all the energy too. So if you're stacked on Swanna for some reason, you got like 3 energy on it, you can move it all off. And then you attack with it, and if it gets knocked out, you don't lose any of your energy. It's kind of nice. So it's kind of a fun card. I like it a lot. I like that it has no retreat cost, and it's a neat effect. I think it's really good. You'll see this card in a good amount of decks for sure. We also got Ampharos. It's a stage 1 with 150 health, which I think is kind of nuts. And it's an electric Pokemon, so you'll be able to build it pretty quick. So if you can pull it quick enough, this will be pretty good. Anyway, it's got Thunder Punch, does 80 damage base for 2 electric energy, really good. If you flip a coin and you get heads, it does 40 more damage, so it'll do 120 damage. And then if it's tails, it does 20 damage to itself, which, like, honestly, for a Pokemon that has 150 health, that's like nothing. That's not bad. You could throw a Giant Cape on this thing. Maybe, you know, if you're worried about damage, a Pokemon Center Lady, or even some potions. I think this card's actually, like, the 150 health, in my opinion, is crazy. Oh, it's a stage 2, by the way. Sorry, I forgot about Flaffy. I don't know why I thought it was Mareep straight into Ampharos, but it is a stage 2, so you can use Lily. And I think for like a single prize card, like this will be really good with rare candy decks and stuff. You'll be cooking. This is actually like a really good hard hitting electric card. I mean, granted, it's kind of a, you're flipping a coin, but like it's still doing at least 80 damage. I think that's still really good. Porygon Z, back to energy shenanigans. This is also a really good rare candy target. It only has 130 health though, so but it's colorless, so you can use it with Ilima. But during your opponent's next turn after you use this attack, the attacks used by the defending Pokemon cost 1 more. In my opinion, this kind of sucks. Because you have to attack. Stoutland is also a colorless Pokemon that does 70 damage for 2 energy, and it has 140 health. And it just has an ability that does this. It doesn't have to attack. And it's only on the defending Pokemon. So if they like retreat into a different Pokemon, they're good. So this is just a worse Stoutland. Don't use this. Just if you're gonna use Porygon Z, use the other one that's got like the buggy beam. I just use that one. In fact, that one's better now because of Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh can ramp energy to a basic Pokemon. You could ramp into a Porygon and then rare candy evolve it into Porygon Z with the buggy beam, and you could be hitting people and changing their energy. It's way better than this. This just because there's a Pokemon that's literally like also colorless and also does 70 damage, but it's just an innate ability that it has, is stupid. I mean, like, it's like, yeah, you use the attack, so like if you get Sabrina'd, it's still the effect still sits on that Pokemon, so that's kind of, but you know, if you're attacking a Pokemon in the active spot that's not even like the one that's getting built, this does nothing. Because then they just switch, especially with Lyra being a card in the game right now. This sucks. I'm just gonna say it. This card, it just kind of sucks. That's all I can really say. All right, we do have other baby Pokemon. Magby's another one. We got Toasty Toss. We love Magby. You take a fire energy from your energy zone and you can attach it to one of your benched basic Pokemon. Has to be basic. But that's still really cool though. Like a turn 1 fire energy build. Granted, like any baby deck, in my opinion, if you're gonna run baby decks, you're gonna need Giant Cape. You're gonna really want Giant Cape, because otherwise you're gonna be in for a rough time. It's gonna be really rough. But this is really good for building fire energy turn 1, especially with like, I don't know, you could like Turtonator already has a trainer card that supports it, but like you could run this with like Turt or like, heck, even like, it doesn't have to be a benched fire basic Pokemon. You could run Flareon EX and build it this way too. It's not it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the, being able to do that turn 1's pretty cool. So, I don't know. It's good. It's just like Pichu. It's the same thing. We also got Heatmore. I'll just read this one real quick. It's kind of neat. If your opponent's active Pokemon is burned, this attack does, it does some more damage. We're not sure yet because the Instagram ad wasn't exactly clear. I assume for 2 energy, it probably does anywhere from like, it could do like 60 more damage. That would be crazy, but with the way burn works and the way the opponent is flipping to heal it every like Pokemon checkup phase that happens, I could see it doing like, like around 40 to 60 more damage, which would be really good. So we'll see how many other Pokemon burn though in this set. I have to see a couple more, burning Pokemon. I guess you could fit this into like a Incineroar deck. Maybe. I don't know. It seems kind of like a niche use case. We got Dark type Houndoom. Oh my gosh, Dark type Houndoom. It does stuff. We don't know because it was a really low res shot that we got from Instagram. But we were getting Houndoom, which like, yeah, of course we're getting Houndoom. It's Gen 2. But like, what does it do? Oh no. But it has an attack for 3 Dark type energy and it does stuff. It's not just a basic attack. It's an attack that does stuff. And that's pretty cool. We got Ariados is the same way. It's an attack. It only needs 1 energy, which is pretty sick. 1 dark type energy, and then it'd also be doing stuff. It kind of looks like, I'm just gonna guess, it does look like it's a multiplicative move. So maybe it's like a coin flip thing where you flip a coin, and then heads, you do as much damage as many heads you get. Especially with only having 80 health, I could definitely see like a big Gamba. Wormadam comes to mind when I think about this, but it looks like it's got like, I don't know, I'm just guessing. There could be a multiplier in there. I'm thinking maybe, who knows? And then we got Zubat. Apparently we can read this one. I don't know how this is any different than the Ariados or the Houndoom, but it's Venomous Fang. It does 10 damage, and when you hit it, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, which is sick. We could definitely be seeing Crobat EX in this set, which would be crazy. I think that's definitely a possibility. I don't know for sure, but we do have regular Crobat already. This is also just a really good Zubat to pair into the Arceus Crobat decks, just because it can poison stuff, which is like super aggressive. So it's definitely a really big buff to like Crobat Arceus decks as it is. This will be really fun to use, especially with how strong his poison is with Nihilego and all that. I think this will probably be a pretty sick set of cards. Even if we don't get Crobat EX, I'm sure the Crobat we get from this will have something to do with poison, and if you pair it with Nihilego, it'll be sick. So I'm excited to see what that's like. I'm pumped. We got Magarko, another card that we can't really read because the text is like super blurry. It does a move called Spurt Fire. It doesn't do damage. It requires a fire and a colorless. I'm assuming it's got to do something with burn. I'm not sure exactly. I'm trying to read the card here and see if I can make any words out. It's got a 3 retreat cost. It does stuff. I love all these. I think my favorite part about a lot of these cards is that their attacks do stuff. It's not just damage. Because when an attack just does damage, that's fine as long as it does a lot of damage. But with Magarko, it's like, I can kind of see how this would do some work. I can kind of see how this could do some work for sure. But this, I don't know. It doesn't even do damage. So it has to be something crazy, because otherwise I don't see what the point of it is. All right, well, everything else that we've talked about from the previous video is pretty much all the same, but now we have higher resolution images of all of them, which is cool. I'm super excited for Ho-Oh EX. I think out of all the cards here, Ho-Oh EX is like, in my opinion, the best one, because it's 3 colors energy, so it can go in any deck, and it gives any basic Pokemon on your bench fire, water, and electric. There are tons of dragon Pokemon that I've complained about in the past that I said sucked, and I was like, we need something in this game that can consistently give the energy they need. And every dragon type, I'm pretty sure in the game, needs at least a fire, a water, or an electric type energy. So this was really good for ramping dragons. This is like so good for ramping dragons. You just have to keep them in basic. Like you can't evolve them until you ramp the energy, but I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. And yeah, it takes 3 energy to build this Ho-Oh EX. So I don't know exactly how well this thing will build. You might want to pair it with like some baby Pokemon. Wouldn't it be the worst thing? Like if you could, there is a world where if you want to run Dragonite EX, you run 2 Ho-Oh EX, 2 Pichus, and then the full 2 of the full Dragonite EX lines. And that would be a pretty solid deck because it builds electric. You'd run like only water energy in that deck. And then you would just have to hope you start with Ho-Oh or Pichu and then work from there. And then also be able to build the energy to the Dratini as quickly as you can. Or if you can't build energy to the Dratini, you know, you hope that you at least pull a Pichu and a Ho-Oh, and then you can build the energy on the Ho-Oh from the Pichu. You know, there's a little bit of gamba there, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a lot that can be done with Ho-Oh EX. I think this is the most exciting card from the entire set. This is the card, in my opinion, other than like this, like Silver's crazy too, don't get me wrong. But this card is definitely gonna help a ton of decks out that previously didn't really have too much to stand on. Now, a lot of those decks are going to incredibly benefit from getting energy from Ho-Oh EX. I think this is going to be a really, really good card in a bunch of different decks. Anyway, like I said before, guys, if there's anything you're incredibly excited about, let me know in the comments. I'm super pumped for this set. As I've said before, Gen 2 is probably my favorite generation. I cannot wait for this thing to come out. There are some crazy cards in this set that are definitely going to shake up the meta. I'm super pumped to see what you guys think about it. Anyway, Wisdom of Sea and Sky, Set A4, it's going to be incredible, coming out next week. I hope you guys are incredibly pumped. Also, save your trade credits. They are switching up how trade credits work, and they're getting rid of them. And then there will be a store where you can take your trade credits and transform them into Stardust and Hourglasses. I believe the cap on Hourglasses is 60. 1 trade credit for 1 Hourglass. You can get 60 of them. But that's still 5 free packs. So hold on to your trade credits for now. Don't do any trading for a bit. And then once they do this update, start getting those Stardust, start getting those Hourglasses for free. It's going to be awesome. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. I can't even talk right. I'm so excited. And this is Clocky, clocking out. I'll see you guys around.